I want to thank you for having me on your show. Thank you.
Great. Are you planning on writing any other book?
I'm trying to see if I can come up with a sequel to The Pedagogy of the Oppressed, but I think I covered everything I know on that book, so we'll be seeing.
Great. I want to ask, what do you think are the pros and cons about the banking system?
Well, I don't think there are any real pros. I mean, unless you're in the system and you want the kids to grow up to be, I guess, the way you want them to be as part of the system, then that would be a big pro. But there's a whole bunch of cons. Studies show that kids learn a lot better if they participate in a dialogue, if they participate and they have a voice in their own learning. And I think a lot of the problem with banking education is that the teacher is the sage on the stage as opposed to being a guide on the side. And I think teachers ought to be more guides on the side so that kids can have a more participatory role in their own education.
So would you agree that problem-posing education is a better road to take in our public schools?
Yes, definitely. Problem-posing education allows students to solve problems and to come up with more creative ways and innovative ways to find solutions to the problems that go on in the world. And you can't do that in a banking education, because in a banking education there's only one solution to any problem posed, and it's the solution that the teacher provides. Whereas in problem-posing education, students have a myriad of ways to come up with solutions to any given problem.
Great. What are your views, your opinions, if you find any pros and cons with the Common Core that is now going to be implemented in schools?
I think ideally the Common Core system, the Common Core Standards Initiative was a good idea at first, I think, before it got hijacked by all the special interests. And I think ideally you want your students to be pushed and to develop higher critical thinking skills and to be able to be prepared for college and be prepared for the future. But I think the big con is that it's more standardized testing, and it treats everybody the same. It treats them as if everybody's going to go to college, when a lot of our students are not. They're not going to college. That's not their goal. You know, a lot of students just want to have a quick career, maybe go into nursing, maybe go into, I don't know, electrical, engineering or something like that, auto mechanic, and you don't need to go to college for those career paths. And I think that we are making a big mistake in that regard, because the Common Core initiative is telling those students that the only choice they have is to go to college, to go to higher education, and go for a bachelor's degree, which is really sad, frankly, because we are robbing of options. We are robbing our students of other options that they could take.
Oh, great. I just want to thank you for being here today. It was a pleasure having you here, and you are welcome anytime you want to come. Let's give a big round of applause. Thank you. And we'll be right back after these short messages.
Patient has a fractured fibula. Given him a mild sedative, so I can be able to go on tomorrow.
Daddy's gonna be so excited.
That killed him.
Paging Dr. Palmer, Dr. Barbara Palmer, dial 452.
Hi, welcome back. Next up, we have Jenna Goodman. Hi, Jenna Goodman. Welcome to my show. Please take a seat.
Thank you.
And before we get started, we have one question from the audience.
Hi, I'd like to ask the lady a question. How can I prepare my son to be a critical thinker before entering the classroom?
Okay. Well, let's see. You can go ahead and teach them by giving them lots of activities to do at home. Like, let's say, one of the most efficient ways of helping them with their learning and literary skills would be that reading to them a bedtime story. They enjoy it. It's a family bonding time, and you can equally show them, words, context. These are important things that they will need by the time that they go back into school.
prevents the teacher from helping those that are learning English as their second language?
I think for a fact that for those of them who are English learners, it's going to be a lot harder because if the teacher is so mindseted on having them learn at the same level as everybody else, then they're not going to take the time to help or put a little extra effort into helping those that don't understand simple concepts, that don't understand how a kite maybe is an example to something else, you know, like for example in Spanish, when they have to learn Spanish, there's certain connotations that are not in English, and you just can't help one without the other. You have to be able to help them with their background and teach them to translate from one language to the other instead of just focusing on maybe instead of a papalote, it's a kite. You know, there's a barrier of language that has to be put down first when you're trying to get to the next step.
Great, and we just thank you for being here
Thank
today.
you for inviting me.
And we welcome you anytime.